Breaking right now, new video footage finally proves that Meghan Markle purposefully broke the biggest rule of royal protocol shamefully during her first engagement with the late Queen.
Was Meghan Markle really caught disrespecting Queen Elizabeth II? This question has been swirling around social media, causing quite a stir among royal watchers and fans alike. A new viral clip has social media in meltdown. People are dissecting every frame, every gesture, and every expression.
This is something that the Duchess of Sussex has denied for some time. But look at this. And then we'll get analysis from P. Dinah. P. Dinah, to me, looking at this bombshell new footage, it is very, very clear that she ignored the official advice. She decided to walk in front of the late Queen Elizabeth II. We know there were so many other terrible things that she did on that day, refusing to allow the late Queen to get into the car first, refusing to wear a hat, even though that had been requested specifically by the late Queen's lady-in-waiting. And I think it just shows that Meghan always had a disdain for the British royal family.
Yeah, I think it points to a bigger problem, and that problem is Meghan doesn't want to take direction. She wants to do things the way she wants to do them. And I think this is why I've always tried to think, well, what does this really mean? When you see her disrespecting the protocols of the royal family, disrespecting the Queen, not wearing a hat. I mean, I pointed out to a friend of mine, she didn't wear a hat and my friend tried to make light of it, like, oh, well, she didn't wear a hat. But no, you have to look at, well, what does that really mean? If you can't follow simple instruction, if you refuse to do these things, what does it mean later down the road when you're asked to do other things and you can't follow these small, simple instructions? It means that you won't probably ever do things that people want you to do. You made a choice. You married into this family, Meghan. So you agreed to do the things that were expected of you as someone marrying into the royal family. So what it told me is that from the very beginning, Meghan was never going to adhere to anything that was expected of her. She was going to use this as an opportunity to help herself in her own career. And it was just a stepping stone to what she really wanted to do. And that was to leave the royal family and to use her exposure to brand herself later.
Many say it's the final proof of her true attitude toward the monarchy. The clip has sparked heated debates and divided opinions. It all started with a brief moment during a highly publicized royal engagement, a seemingly innocuous event that has now become the center of controversy. At first glance, it might seem subtle, but when you slow it down and read between the lines, a very different story starts to emerge. The devil, as they say, is in the details.
And that's what she did. And so, I think it's a really good insight to someone and who they are deep down to their core. You can't follow these simple instructions. You're just not a very good person that really wants to do the right thing. And that's what I think people should really be upset at. Don't look at the little small things that she didn't do. Look at the big picture. And what we can see is it panned out. We can see that she is not the kind of person to respect people. I mean, I can only imagine what is happening in her relationship now with Harry. You can't respect the Queen. I know you surely are not respecting your husband and the things that he may be going through right now, because I can tell you right now, he's going through a lot. There's a lot going on, and this marriage is finding tension. And you can tell just by that video right there, this is a woman who is going to make problems for her husband as she did for the royal family. That's what it told me.
Yeah, big time, big time. I mean, just going back to the details of the trip, because this was the first and only time there was ever an engagement between Meghan, a solo engagement between Meghan and the late Queen. It absolutely was an attempt by the monarch to show, I'm up for this. We welcome you. You can have all of this advice from Lady Susan Hussey, but it was very, very obvious soon after. And remember, the late Queen, was speaking all the time to her key aides, and it became very obvious that Meghan wasn't playing ball. But what's quite fascinating, and remember, this was a relatively mundane trip. It was in Cheshire, and they were opening a new bridge. But the Daily Mail has actually employed the lip-reading expert Jackie Press to reveal what was said between Meghan and the royal staff while she was walking in front of the late Queen. And what's interesting is that an aide says to Meghan, "Do you want to come down?" And then when Meghan is addressing the crowd, she actually says to Meghan, "This way, please," and gestures with her hand in the direction to walk ahead. So Meghan was being guided. She was being told every step of the way what to do, and she ignored it. Then there was another moment where Meghan took flowers and wanted to hold on to flowers. And again, that might sound like a small thing, but actually, royal protocol makes clear that when you are handed flowers, you pass them back to your private secretary or personal assistant so they can be properly displayed, but also checked for safety reasons. But the point that has been made by royal courtiers here, P. Dinah, is that the flowers were for the late Queen. They weren't for Meghan, and Meghan was only receiving them because she had walked in front of the Queen. Now, all of this, right, sounds quite small fry. However, it does show the lack of respect, and it does show that she ignored the direction and guidance that she was being given on the day, because it was the Meghan Markle show. And so she didn't want a hat because she wanted her beautiful hair out. She didn't want to have to walk behind the late Queen because why should she have to? She's a proud feminist woman.
Meghan's expressions and body language during this event have been scrutinized like never before. Let's bring in expert analysis. According to behavior analysts, Meghan's nonverbal cues here are very telling. They point out specific gestures and expressions that could indicate deeper feelings.
Yeah. And it just shows how she's so eager to get the spotlight. She's just like so anxious, doesn't want to listen, walking in front of the Queen. I mean, I cannot understand how you are so bold to just disregard the things that are being said to you. That tells you so much about the mindset of someone like this. And so when like Narendra was talking about how she's just so kind and sweet, and this woman has the audacity to disrespect the Queen of England, and understanding like what the Queen has done and accomplished in her life, and you're disrespecting this person. That one move right there shows you this is not a nice person. Okay, so she knew what she was supposed to do. She had people guiding her. She even didn't want to even take instruction from some of the other people that the Queen wanted to advise her. I think her equerry person, that was a black man, that she was just like,
Yes.
oh, I don't want him. So she doesn't want to take direction. So how can people say she's a really nice person and humble and all these things? Look to what she actually is doing to understand that this is why we don't really like her, because of her disrespect for a country, the Queen, the people. I mean, the list goes on and on. Her father, her family. Really?
Totally.
People need to just wake up.
Totally. And the thing that's so interesting as well is they then, and to me, this is so awful. Harry and Meghan both then attempted to use that day, right, for positive PR, to try and prove that the late Queen was behind Meghan. So you'll remember that Harry wrote of the day in Spare, that Meghan returned from the trip glowing, and she said, the Queen and I really bonded. And Harry wrote, because, Harry kept nothing back, did he? Had no idea of class or dignity and what you share or don't share. And he said, we talked about how much I wanted to be a mom, and she told me the best way to induce labor was a good bumpy car ride. I told her I'd remember that when the time came. A private discussion. That was a private discussion. You do not reveal what the late Queen told you in a private discussion. And then Meghan, in the interview in 2021, said we were in the car going between engagements, and she, referring to the late Queen, has a blanket that sits across her knees for warmth, and it was chilly, and she was like, Meghan, come on, and put it over my knees as well. And it made me think of my grandmother, where she's always been warm and inviting and really welcoming. So the point is, it was just another PR exercise, wasn't it? And
Yes.
it's also worth pointing out that the late Queen had offered Meghan the help of the Duchess of Edinburgh too, Sophie Wessex, and that was turned down because Meghan says, oh, I have my Harry. I don't need anything else. Well, look at how that went. Didn't really work out.
Raised eyebrow and eye roll combo often signals annoyance or superiority. These subtle cues can speak volumes about what someone is really thinking. Dismissive hand gesture, a subconscious way to reject or undermine. This gesture in particular has caught the attention of many analysts.
And then go on Oprah and say that there was no help, there was nothing. Like the blatant lies of this woman should be enough for people to wake up to who she is. For me, Megan is just one of those kind of people that is really showing you who she is. And like they say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay, why can't people believe that Megan is this kind of person? I don't understand it because, like I said before, you wouldn't accept this behavior in your own family. You wouldn't allow someone to disrespect someone like you're the head of your family, your matriarch. You wouldn't allow it. So why do they think that the royal family should just, go with it? No, I think Megan has done so many things that we can see that are not acceptable. She lies. And the reality is Megan needs to atone for all the things that have happened. And she needs to really feel the backlash that people are giving her right now because it is very much warranted, is justified, because people don't want to see the disrespect of the Queen. I mean, it just is common sense to me, right? I don't understand why people, and also going to your point about the blanket and the Queen, like she could not wait to exploit her relationship with the Queen. She was like, oh, I'm going to tell people about this moment. She couldn't wait. I'm sure she went back and took notes. And Harry, for that matter, should have known better. He should have known not to put these little conversations with the Queen in his book for money. Look, Meghan has gotten Harry to sell out his grandmama, right? So how bad is this? Like, you cannot think this is okay, right? I just find it despicable behavior what Megan has done. She has shown us who she is. Everyone believe her who she is.
None of this is working though, P. Diner, because I'll show you this from an influencer who has crunched the numbers, and this is based on massive surveys taken all over the world. And it reveals who the most loved and the most hated celebrities in all the world are. So P. Diner, only P. Diddy. Only P. Diddy is less popular. Oh, and by the way, before she tries to turn this into a race thing, and I think this is why it was important that I also showed the three most loved celebrities in the world, because look at number 2 and number 3. Denzel
right.
Washington and Morgan Freeman. So don't tell me it's a race thing, Meghan. Do you see what I mean? Because that's what she would usually try and do.
Wow, it is really bad when you beat out Amber Heard because we saw what she did to Johnny Depp. We saw that. The problem is we can't really see what she's doing to Harry, but she's doing worse to Harry. I just know it. So, I mean, to be number 2, yeah, you got some work to do, Megan. You got some real work to do, girlfriend, because it doesn't look like you're going to get too far with any projects that you're trying to do because you need to have people like you, especially when your show is called With Love. I'm sorry, there ain't no love coming with anything Megan does. It is all seedy and shady what she's doing. So, yeah, that's really bad for you, Megan. I mean, at this point, Harry must be really beside himself. People do not like my wife. What am I going to do? I mean, Harry, you're going to be in that boat with Johnny Depp. I mean, you're going to be a victim sooner than you think because I think it's a sign of things to come. If you're in the number 2 spot, yeah, you're getting ready to come out with some things that are going to be public very soon behind the walls of your home in Montecito. Harry is feeling the brunt of that number 2 spot of Meghan.
Avoiding eye contact with royals, possible sign of internal conflict or disapproval. Eye contact, or the lack thereof, can be very telling in social interactions. Analysts say these cues aren't accidental, they're subconscious. They argue that these gestures reveal Meghan's true feelings, even if she didn't intend to show them.
I mean, I wonder what Megan thinks about all that. I mean, I'm wondering if she's like, is it, do you realize yet? Do you understand that people don't like you? I mean, even if you come out with a show talking about with love, we see you, Megan. We watch you. Do you like there's a big elephant in the road? You just gonna go around the elephant? You're not gonna address it? I mean, this is why she will keep climbing and keep staying at this spot because she wants to ignore it. Like it's la di da, nothing is going on, people love me. With love, Megan. Sorry. Not happening.
And P Diner, this week, and this is when you know things are really bad, right? Thomas Markle, and look, cards on the table. I love the Markles. I love Thomas Markle. I
Yeah, I
love
do
Samantha
too.
Markle. I love Thomas Markle Jr. To me, these are the salt of the earth people. And Meghan led a destructive campaign using the mainstream media to try and make her family out as something they were not. But you know it's pretty bad, right? When one of the most, I guess, scathing reviews of your TV series is from your own dad. And he was spot
You
on.
cannot
He
make
was
this
spot
up.
on. But no, you can't make it up.
I mean, the drama. Think about this, though. We have to remember that Thomas Markle is an Emmy award-winning lighting director, right? People have worked with him that are still in Hollywood. And imagine the things that are being said that we don't hear about. There is an undercurrent of what people are saying in Hollywood, and it's not good because I think Thomas Markle is very well respected in the industry. People see what Meghan has done to her papa, her father, and they don't like it. And when your father, who really knows what he's doing in terms of his work in Hollywood, people respect him, and he's coming out and saying this about his own daughter, it's just a wake up call for you, Meghan. What you think is going to happen now? You think you're winning and with love is doing great? This is giving us all the insight we need for who you are. Because I mean, people are piling on the once woke. Now your father is coming out and telling us it's over. And I think sooner than later, yeah, like I said, Harry has to be the one to realize, what's happening because the father understands, yeah, it's bad. He even sees her fake side and he knows this is not real. And if your daddy's calling you out, then we know it must be true, right? We feeling it all the way.
Yeah, and he was spot on. I mean, he was spot on. He's like, I know
Mhm,
when she's pretending. I know when she's not being authentic. And look, she's
mhm,
created this situation. The poor dad, Thomas, has just wanted to be let in for such a long time.
yeah.
But the thing is, it's like he's the father. He raised her. Plus, he was obviously able to say that all of the latchkey kid stuff was just not true. Yes, he
Wow.
admitted he wasn't exactly cooking for her because he was working two jobs. He was an Emmy award winning sound director. So it wasn't
But
that he was making the food, but he's like, I'm taking her to the best restaurants. To some of the best
mhm,
restaurants in Los Angeles. And we all know the quality
yeah.
of food at those restaurants is top notch.
Right. A good money. And he talked about it when
Yep.
I met with him when he was with his first wife. He didn't have that much money. He was just getting started. But when Megan came along, he's now more established. He's got more money. And he treated Megan like a princess. She got everything she wanted. And once again, Megan is trying to look like people should like her. She didn't grow up with the best things in life. Girl, you went to a private school. Okay. What are you talking about? You did not eat TV dinners. You were not a latchkey kid. You were on the set of Married with Children. There are pictures. Okay. Your dad sent a limo for you when he could not pick you up. What are you talking about? And so these are the lies that people need to wake up to. Narinder, wake up. Do you see the things that we're seeing? Because we don't have the glowing picture that you see of Megan. We see like the receipts. She doesn't see the receipts of who this woman is. I think you need to start waking up to some receipts because obviously you're seeing some delusion that Megan is feeding you, because we don't see that. We see the truth. and we hear it from people that really know her. Okay, so yeah, girl, go kick rocks. We're not listening to you.
And when paired with the timing of the Queen's memorial, the optics couldn't be worse. The context of the event adds another layer of complexity to the situation. So, was Meghan Markle caught disrespecting the Queen, or are critics reading too much into a single moment? This question remains at the heart of the debate. The opinions are divided. Some believe it's a clear sign of disrespect, while others think it's much ado about nothing. Comment below, was it deliberate or overblown? Your opinion matters in this ongoing discussion. I want to hear your take. Do you think Meghan's actions were intentional, or are people just looking for something to criticize? Like and subscribe for more eye-opening royal coverage, body language breakdowns, and media reactions you won't see on the mainstream channels. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis on the latest royal news. Your engagement helps us bring you the stories that matter. Share this video with your friends and family to keep the conversation going. The more perspectives, the better. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep questioning and stay curious.